What's up guys, so this video is all about learning the spray patterns and shooting techniques with the Phantom. It's important that you learn the sprays of the guns so it's burned into your muscle memory and you can hit more of your shots in game. With that said, let's hop into the guide. Alright, what's up guys, so I just wanted to hop into game to show you a little bit about the Phantom spray. I feel like it'll be a little bit easier to explain if I'm like actually in game. So the spray pattern is actually pretty similar to the Vandal. At first, it kind of surprised me a little bit since in CSGO, the spray patterns of the M4 and the AK are a little bit different. But in Valorant, the spray pattern of the Phantom is actually way more forgiving than the Vandal. And so I find it a lot easier to spray with the Phantom than it is with the Vandal. I'm not sure if that's due to the fire rate, since the fire rate of the Phantom is 11 rounds per second versus the Vandal being at 9.25 seconds. And so I feel like it kind of just feels like with the Phantom you can spray more bullets in a faster amount of time than with the Vandal. So I'm gonna demonstrate what the spray pattern is at 5 meters, just so you have an idea. And so as you can see, it's kind of similar to the it's very similar to the Vandal actually. But I think the biggest difference between the spray patterns is that the sway with the Phantom, I feel like it sprays a lot more bullets before each time it sways left and right compared to the Vandal. I feel like the Vandal sprays in a little bit of a bigger inaccuracy than the Phantom. And so 20 meters, the spray pattern looks like that. It's around 7 or so bullets before it goes off the screen. And then at 30 meters, it's about 6 before it goes off the screen. And at 50 meters, it's about 4 bullets before it goes off the screen. So that pretty much wraps what the spray pattern of the Phantom looks like. When you're trying to control the spray pattern of the Phantom, what you want to do is drag down to the left for the first 8 to 10 bullets before it starts swaying. So for example, I'm dragging it to the bottom, I'm dragging it downwards to the left and then across to compensate for that backwards 7 movement that the Phantom, the spray pattern looks like. So you want to drag down to the left and then drag to the right. So if you do this right, then you should for sure at least get like the first 15 or 10 bullets or so into that middle circle. And with the Phantom, this is way easier compared to the Vandal. I think it's just a lot more accurate of a gun, but of course you don't get one-shot headshots at farther ranges. Let's try it at 20 meters. So controlling your spray at 20 meters. Let's try at 30 meters. It's probably gonna be a little bit harder since it's farther away. Yeah, my suggestion at 30 meters plus, like you don't want to be spraying. But in this case, since the spray pattern is pretty much always the same for the first 10 or so bullets, even at 30 meters, if you drag down the right amount, you can still hit the majority of your shots. At 50 meters, it's probably not the best for you to spray past 10, maybe the first 3. You can already see how off the bullets are at 50 meters. Once you have a good idea of of controlling the spray pattern, I feel like a good way to practice is just to keep practicing on this dummy to the right, because you can actually see how many of your bullets hit the target. Last thing that I wanted to talk about in this video is just a couple shooting techniques, just in case you didn't know. I didn't really mention this in my previous video, but I wanted to talk about tapping, bursting, and full spraying. So at like 5 meters and 10 meters, you can pretty much full spray and get all of your bullets in that circle. And so at this range, fully spraying is definitely going to be more effective than tapping or than bursting. It's just because the amount of inaccuracy that you're getting is so small. So at this range, I would suggest just fully spraying and controlling your spray. At 10 meters, if you have good spray control, then I feel like 5 and 10 isn't going to be too much of a difference for you. At this range, you can burst if you want to add a little bit of movement to your shooting, just to make yourself a harder target to hit, because at this range, if you're spraying and you're standing still, then they definitely can easily control their spray. But if you're moving just a little bit, sometimes they'll be good enough to throw off their aim a little bit. Some people like crouching when they full spray. The only thing that I have a problem with is that in like lower elo, where people aren't really aiming for the head all the time, when you crouch, if the person is already aiming at your chest, then you literally put your head in their crosshair. So in lower elo, I would suggest not crouching too much when you spray. But in higher elo, where people are trying to aim for your head all the time because they want to kill you as fast as they can, then crouching every now and then to throw off their aim could help you a lot. Just remember that when you crouch, your cursor is going to be on their chest, so you're going to have to aim up a little bit just to make sure that you hit their head. I tend to forget to aim at their head just out of habit when I'm crouching, and I end up shooting them in like the balls. But just remember, if you're going to add in that little bit change in your shooting pattern, then you got to aim up to hit their head. At 20 meters and 30 meters, this is where I feel like starting to one tap or starting to tap shoot is a lot more effective than just full spraying or bursting. I think 20 meters is probably the best time to burst or tap. Your bullets are just a lot more accurate and you actually know where they're going. At 30 meters and 50, I highly suggest tapping. I feel like if you burst, then most of your bullets aren't really even gonna go on the target. You'll get the first 3, right? But then you're gonna miss like the last 3, where if you just pause a little bit and one tap, then you probably hit them all with tapping. But with tapping, just remember that depending on how fast you tap, you're still gonna have to account for some recoil. It's going to go up the more you tap. So just most of the time you just want to let your accuracy reset, take a step to the left and be a target that they can't hit, and then tap them down. This is super important for the people that like using the Vandal, because all you need is one shot to the head for them to die. And with the Phantom, if you get a headshot at this range, then they're aim punched and they're not going to be able to shoot you back. So those headshots are super important in games like this, where it literally takes one bullet to kill someone. So that's what makes getting headshots with like pistols on save rounds so important, just because it goes off their aim, and 9 times out of 10, if you're good enough, then if you aim punch someone, they're gonna die. So at both 50 and 30, I highly suggest tapping. You could just see from how my bullets are on the target on the left side. Like bursting at this range is not doing anyone justice, TBH. I hope this helps a little bit. Knowing when you should burst, when you should tap, or when you should full spray is definitely going to help you have more control of your gun and know what to do in what situation. Also, just practicing in the practice range, practicing your spray control with all the guns will help you be more confident in your games and hopefully help you hit more shots. So overall, I feel like the Phantom is a great gun of choice, especially if you feel like you like bursting or spraying a lot more. Focusing on close combat situations with the Phantom will definitely help you out, since at 0 to 10 or 15 meters, it is a one-shot headshot just like the Vandal, which makes it really good since the fire rate is a lot faster than the Vandal too. So if you're playing short or playing somewhere where you're always up in the enemy's faces, then I highly suggest using the Phantom. I recently uploaded a video about the spray pattern of the Vandal, and I feel like it'd be a great way to help you hit more of your shots, especially since the Vandal is a little harder to control when spraying. Also, feel free to stop on my stream if you have any questions or just want to hang out. I stream on Twitch on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 12 p.m. PST at twitch.tv/BakeSharpie. Again, thank you guys for the follows and the subs. Every little thing helps out the channel a bunch. Y'all are the real MVPs. With that, have a great day and happy fragging.